And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. A memorial service for former City Councilwoman Ada Edwards is scheduled for Friday morning at St. John's United Methodist Church, and it's at 11 a.m. She died last Thursday at 80 years old. Edwards leaves behind a legacy as a humanitarian, community leader, and definitely an activist. Let's turn it over to my guests, Cardinal Oswald Walker and Harris County Judge Wanda Adams. So glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored. You know, we were just talking about council member, and I keep saying council member, Ada Edwards, but she was incredible to meet. And I remember when I first met her, I felt like she was looking through me. She assessed you first.
Yes.
And figure out who you are and then form that relationship. And you had a very special relationship with her.
Yeah, of course we want to get our condolences to the family, to Todd, the grandkids, and of course the entire Edwards family. I'm here because of Ada. Many people know that I was working for the mayor's office at that time, and I had a close relationship with former councilmember Ada Edwards and her staff, and working in constituency services, always working with her, doing really hard. And I did that for like 7 or 8 years.
You were okay in the background.
I was okay in the background.
She wanted you somewhere else.
She wanted me somewhere else, and so she decided one day, she asked me, she said, have you thought about running for city council? And I told, who tells Ada no, right?
Nobody.
But I told Ada no the first time. And so I said yes, and my journey has been great since then.
And what does she mean to you personally as an individual? We always know she was an elected official, but I always see her as that activist first, standing up for people, a humanitarian, someone who cares about you.
Many of the people in the community felt like she was Mama Ada. Remember, they used to call her Mama Ada, and but they just loved her because she let her yes be yes and her no's be no's, and she knew exactly where she stood, and she knew when you was coming, if you was coming for truth or if you was coming for something else. Because if you was coming for something else, she was like no, because she didn't have time for it, because she was all about seriousness. She was always doing the work of the community of District D. But even before that, she was, you know, standing for justice with Ida D. Delaney for injustices when she was murdered. So she was always standing up for the right of people.
And she's going to have some individuals who are in journalism. That she stood up for them when they couldn't get promotions in a local TV station. They couldn't get on the air in a local, and she stood the ground and stood up for them, and now many of them went on to be managers and on air. Oswald, Carter, what are your thoughts about her? You will be speaking at the funeral service. That's a heavy role to have,
Lord
to be
have
doing,
mercy.
you know, eulogizing and talking about her.
So I'm glad you mentioned the fact that she's more than a city council person.
Absolutely.
She's an activist. But when I think about her, I think about the church choir member. I think about the minister. I think about the connector. I mean, that's how I met you. And you know, Derek Muhammad, who's been on your show several times, when she passed away, he called me up and reminded me that that's how we connected. She was a connector, but she was an equal opportunity confronter. Whether she loved you or not, if she thought you were trying to just blow smoke, she was going to confront. But she had so much love. She had this tough exterior, but underneath that exterior was this heart that loved hard and full and forever. And that's why she was so much into mentoring, especially young people, especially sisters. She had that radio show, I think it was on 92.1. That's where I first met Marcus Davis and Crystal Hadnot and Zinger and so many other people, but she's always connecting, just full of love. But she was an activist, and she was a global citizen and was standing up for black people unashamedly, full-throated, standing up for black people.
And that's why she ran for office, because of all of that history.
And how can you be both things, kind and caring, but firm and to the point?
That is what a community leader does. That's who we are. We love people, and to be in the positions where we are, we have to be kind, we have to be the connector, and we just have to be that person that will resonate with everyone and care. And that's who Ada stood for. And like, you knew exactly what position you stood in her life, because she would tell you straight on. And she was that true public servant about just for the people. I remember and she cared about Sunnyside. I mean, you think that she was just a council member for Sunnyside, but we knew she was for D all over. But she just loved loved the community to later. That's why she purchased her home right in the middle of Sunnyside when she retired from the city of Houston. Before then, I mean, she cared about, when I remember this time when there were no lights, Isaiah, in Sunnyside. She made sure that Mayor White, you're going to put lights in Sunnyside. I don't care how much money it's going to cost. They're going to have lights. And they had lights because that's just who she was, street lights. If you can have street lights in District G, you can have street lights in District D. Because she said what's good for over there is good for these people over here in Sunnyside and South Park. And that's just who she was.
Incredible. And of course, we will see you both at the services on Friday for those who are looking for more information. And of course, they will be streaming it on YouTube. It's at St. John's United Methodist Church Friday at 11 a.m. And as we said, live stream on YouTube. It's available at St. John's YouTube webpage. So thank you guys for joining us,
Isaiah,
for remembering her. She was just incredible and a joy to meet, and always tough to cover. But you know, she was right there with the answers we needed. Still